Hi there, everyone. My name is Tweak or Charles, I guess based on how well you know me. And I'm here again for another Beneath the Tangles live stream. Really excited to be with you. Our guest will be here in just a minute, and I will introduce her once she gets here. In the meantime, thank you everyone for joining us. I do want to point you to our YouTube page where this live stream will eventually show up. But our guest is here right now, so I will bring her on and introduce her to you all. Just momentarily here. And there you are. Hi, Emmy.
Hello. Is my sound working? Okay, now I can hear you maybe? Wait, I can't hear you.
Well.
Okay, now I can.
Okay, great. All right. I think we're set. So let me introduce you to everyone. This is Emmy Lowe joining us today. Yay! Thank you for showing up. For those of you who don't know, Emmy is a voice actress for so many series. It feels like everything that's coming out these days you have a part of. But just a few of the roles you played.
The audio is really weird again. I missed like the last part of what you said.
Let me adjust this because if you're having trouble, other people might be having trouble as well. Those of you who are out there, if you're having a hard time hearing me, let me know. Can you hear me any better right now?
Yeah, it just cuts out randomly, so.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully it'll get better. But let me mention some of the roles you've been in. Yeah, darn technology, right, Eric? Eric, by the way, thank you for giving us a question. We will get to your question in a little bit. But some of them, these roles include Hototo in Apare Ranman, Rinku and D4DJ First Mix, and of course, probably, I guess maybe the one you're most noted for, which is Rena in the Higurashi remake. So welcome, Emmy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for everyone for joining as well.
Yeah, sure. If you have any questions, leave them. You can leave them in the comments below, or there's also a little button where you can submit questions, and I'll be checking them periodically as we go through our time together. So we'll talk about a couple of your roles, Emmy, but I do want to just start out by, first of all, pointing people to your Instagram. Please follow Emmy. If you're watching this later, you can visit our Instagram page. Her screen name is Kitsune Squeak, which is also the same name that she has on Twitter. So, or you can just search Emmy Lowe and find her in either of those. And then I also want to thank you for letting me sit with you last Monday at the Shakespeare Midsummer Night's Dream thing.
Oh, no problem.
No, like seriously, like we when I got there, most of the people I knew were participating in it, so I kind of felt like I did like in high school or college with my hands in my pockets and like nursing my Topo Chico and not sure what to do. And then I saw your face and you waved at me. I was like, oh, okay, finally, someone I know here. Thank you for that. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there's a wonderful performance of Midsummer Night's Dream in Deep Ellum last week in the Dallas area. And there were a lot of Funimation people who work for Funimation or associated with Funimation that were participating or sitting in the audience. So it was really cool to join in with you all there. But anyway, let's talk about you and get started here. Let's see. One of the series that you're working on right now is a show that I don't know if a lot of our audience has seen, but it's a really cool show. So I wanted to bring it up, which is Shadow's House. And I wondered if you could kind of tell folks out there what the series is about, what the premise is.
So there's a family called the Shadows family, and they like live in a giant mansion up on a hill looking over like the little people. And then so all the Shadows family, they don't have faces, like they're just made out of shadows, basically. And then each of them has a face that is like a living doll. And so it centers around Kate, who's one of the Shadows family, and then her living doll, Emilico. And then they just slowly start to figure out what's going on with the Shadows family, like what the secrets are. And then there's like, and they meet other shadows with their faces. And Emilico's like this ray of sunshine. She's wonderful, but she's very different from other faces in that, like, she and Kate are not like in sync as much as the other ones are, and like Kate allows her to have more of her own personality. And so you just kind of see the adventures of Emilico as she like reaches out using her own brand of personality, and as they just go through the debut and basically go through trials and tribulations and fun stuff and sing little cleaning and all that fun stuff. So it's really great. It has like a Victorian setting, and the aesthetic is gorgeous. It plays a lot with shadow and light concepts, and the soundtrack is very classically oriented. So it just like paints a really good atmosphere as well.
When it was first coming out, I heard comparisons to The Promised Neverland, but I feel like this is not quite as dark as that show. Am I wrong on that?
So the reason why it was compared to The Promised Neverland is actually because it's done by the same studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Cloverworks. So people were worried because of the way Promised Neverland had ended. They were kind of worried that Shadow's house might also like have problems. I don't think so, but yeah. So hopefully those worries were unfounded. So
Okay.
that's the main comparison that was coming up.
I see. Well, I want to talk about the role of Kate because I watched the first couple episodes, and it's to me it's a role that I don't expect out of you. You do a lot of, it's almost like your voice is bursting forth in a lot of your roles, but Kate is a little bit more reserved.
Yeah. I was actually really pleasantly surprised to be cast as Kate. As you said, most of my roles have been very high energy, very bright and high energy. So, but I feel like speaking as Kate is closer to my own actual personality. Maybe, I don't know, it depends on who I'm with. But I really like how Kate is full of so much subtlety, and she enunciates everything in a very sophisticated way, which is a lot of fun because I'm not relying on just energy to catch people, but like more of a reserved presence, which has been a lot of fun to explore, I feel like.
That's kind of related a little bit to one of the questions we received. So let me bring this up. So Kieran Strange, who's also a voice actor, asks, is there an archetype of character you haven't played yet but really want to?
A pretty boy.
Yeah.
I grew up really admiring Megumi Ogata and Minami Takayama. So, and they play a lot of more of the Bishonen type, like from Shaman King or Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho. And so since I've been told by people, like even like Colleen Clinkenbeard, I was like, I don't really use my natural voice very much. And she was like, yeah, your natural voice is like a teenage boy. And that's basically what used to be my bread and butter. Basically, I played like younger versions of different characters, but I've never been able to play like almost teen-ish boy that's just soft and effeminate. And also as someone who likes the more androgynous aesthetic, it's just more in line with how I personally want to be. So I would say I would love to play a pretty boy sometime.
All right, casting directors, if anyone's out there watching, you heard it.
Unfortunately, it's more of a Japanese sort of thing to have the female actress play like a 16-year-old boy. So I won't get my hopes up, but it'd be fun.
just speaking about voice acting in general, I've heard the stories from a lot of folks about kind of their paths to becoming voice actors, but I haven't heard yours. I think people who are listening now, just from the few minutes of conversation here, understand that you have a really deep interest in anime. This is, it's not something that you've connected to after your profession, but you know these actors, you know the series, and so I wonder, I'm definitely interested in hearing how you kind of transitioned or came into the voice acting field. If it crossed into your fandom at all, or just it was just kind of a happenstance thing when you were trying to become an actress.
So yeah, I mean, I've been really into just voiceover in general since I was young. I wanted to be a stage actress. That my parents did not encourage it, so I wasn't really able to do very much drama or theater outside of like school productions. And then I went to like a math and science high school, so that made things very difficult. I had to like go through all sorts of hoops just to be able to take drama class in high school. And so I found like an online community for voiceover, and I just started to do like original radio plays and stuff like that, and I met a lot of people. I had wanted to, right after graduating high school, I had wanted to go into voiceover and make the move, but my parents said that they would disown me. So I went into music instead. But after I had graduated with a music degree, with a master's degree in piano, a series of events happened, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take the dive. I had friends already living in Dallas, and they were like, yeah, you should totally just move down. And I had taken classes up in New York with some voiceover classes as well, in addition to just like the regular acting classes that I took in grad school, which was difficult as well because they were always for music, for vocal majors. So I had to jump through all sorts of hoops just to get permission to take them. But yeah, like since I had been trying to do some acting things here and there and still kept in touch with my voiceover friends who had gone professional, they were just like, yeah, you should totally just come down. So I moved down, and after some perseverance, managed to get a role, and yeah.
That takes a huge commitment to make that move. I'm guessing you were still in New York and then moving down to Dallas, right? That's a little scary.
Yeah, it's really scary, but I'm also lucky that I had my fiance with me, Zach, who is like super supportive. You met him at the Shakespeare performance. He's a wonderful person. So I had him supporting me the whole way. So
Well, and it's worked out. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. You mentioned music, and you studied it, and you're quite accomplished in music. And I wonder what you would consider then more of your passion. Is it acting or is it music?
it's definitely acting. Music, actually, in high school, my piano teacher was begging me to practice 10 minutes a day. It was bad. It was really bad. I really I actually started undergrad as an international relations major. But then it was fine. I was getting A's, but I just had to do something arts related. And music was basically the only thing my parents would support. So I just switched to a piano major somehow, and then I transferred to a different school, and it just went from there. I mean, I love music. I went into it because, I still do love it. But, from the beginning, it's always been acting.
Hmm. Do you play any other instruments besides piano?
Yes, I play violin.
Violin also.
Very Asian. I played both piano and violin.
Those two. Yeah, I grew up playing violin.
For choir and everything, so it's everything.
You've had an opportunity to kind of combine your talent for music with anime too, right? I mean, how have you been able to kind of bring that a little bit into what you do or into the fandom?
When the pandemic first started, I started doing some piano streams. I did a video game anime themed piano recital for MomoCon, and that was actually how I started streaming. That's the whole reason why I got a Twitch account, actually. And so like that went over pretty well. So I was like, why don't I just like prepare a near themed concert as well? And then I started doing weekly streams where I would just play random stuff or sight read random anime or video game music. So that was fun. I might pick it up again. I don't know. But right now I am preparing to do like a Shadows House themed mini recital. I mean, I don't have enough music to do like a full 1 hour recital, but I'm thinking like maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So I've been working on the music for that. But yeah, and in addition, I guess also for Show by Rock, I was able to use my music degree because we dubbed the songs for that. Mm-hmm. And while learning the songs, I also just transcribed the notes for like the harmonies and stuff like that. And I would send them to my castmates to make it easier for us to record the harmonies and stuff. So my perfect pitch really came in handy during that to get the harmonies transcribed. And yeah. It's been helpful knowing how to sing when you have to record singing.
Yeah, what a cool show. And, you know, and Macy Ann Johnson, who's also joined us, she mentioned Show by Rock, you know, we had to mention that one in there. But yeah, no, you know, the kind of just transitioning back to acting again. And the timing is actually working out really nicely because I think. Okay, yeah, Michael Huey joined us, and he asked a question on Twitter related to acting. So I'll throw that out there now. And by the way, if anyone wants to ask a question now, please use the comment line, or there's a submit a question button below. But anyway, Michael asks, which role do you feel has challenged you or helped you grow as an actor the most?
Honestly, I think it was Hototo from Apare, because he just goes through so much. And with him, there were so many layers because he's a young child, but he had to become mature so quickly. And also his backstory is kind of a sensitive topic with, you know, the Native American tribe being like killed. And also I just remember when we were doing his more emotional episodes, Caitlin was like, welcome to emotional scenes with Caitlin, because she was grilling me so much on it. And like, it really helped me like, dig deep within to get those complex and like I don't know, it's like it was a kind of grief that's deeper than a lot of grief that you usually have to portray in anime, just because like with the loss of his family and like all of the responsibilities that he's put onto himself and like just seeing the killer like right in front of him, it was not like a usual children's tantrum.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend everyone go check out Alpare Ranman. I don't know if it was a series that was a little bit under the radar, even though it was PA Works, right? So I mean, it's a major studio, right? But gosh, the voice acting is incredible in it. Just everyone is just so perfectly cast. And Hototo is an incredible character, and he did a really wonderful job with him. And maybe that's a little bit of an audition to get a little bit older boy role somewhere there. But yeah, definitely that's a wonderful, wonderful series. So I'm glad you brought that one up. Let's see. Looking through all my questions here. This is another question that Kieran also asked, which is, other than acting, is there another area of this industry you want to be involved with?
So directing, which I actually just wrapped on directing my first show. I can't say anything about it yet, but hopefully it'll come out soon, and then I will be able to say stuff about it. It's been a wonderful experience directing. I've learned so much even as an actor while directing, just seeing each different people's approaches to the material, and also working on my confidence in working with all these amazing actors, you know, like, and realizing that like I have to like tell them what's going on, like the situation, and also try to push them even farther in some situations and get past my own insecurities and be like, no, I can tell them to give me more or something like that. So it's been a whole learning experience, and I would love to do more of it in the future. So
Did you did you feel like more open to be that director and tell the voice actors what you'd like to see out of them by the last episode as opposed to the first one you directed?
I think so, yeah. Especially, I remember the last session I had with a fantastic actress. I just kept grilling her, and I felt really bad about it, but I think we got like a really good result from it. So
Oh, I'm so excited to see it. Any idea when the announcement's going to be made?
I have no idea. We've submitted the stuff though, so it's not in my hands anymore.
All right. Just to mention a few of the questions, I can't throw them on the screen here like we normally do, so I'll just kind of read what's been asked or said so far. Eric, who's been with us throughout this stream so far, says, I watched our last Crusade episode. And then I don't know how to pronounce this. So PRXTHX says, so what project are you working on now, if you can disclose? So we already mentioned the one you're directing that you can't mention yet, but and you're working on Shadow's House. Is there anything anything else that you're currently working on that you can tell us about?
No, because I just finished recording for another show, but I can't talk about that one yet.
The new season's about to start too, so I'm sure there's a possibility that other things are coming your way. I don't know if Funimation, have they announced any of the summer series yet that they're going to be recording?
I mean, and I have an announcement coming on Saturday. I believe a show that I'm in, the episode that I first show up in, comes out on Saturday, so I guess look out for that. It's minor, but like it's a great show, and I'm honored to be part of it. So
yay! So
talk about it.
I definitely want to kind of advertise Emmy's Twitter account. She is very active there. We've joked from morning to night. She's up early, so
we are early birds.
So she's definitely tweeting all day long, not just about anime, but lots of other stuff. Great photos of her cat, which are really popular. So if you like cats, if you like anime, all sorts of other things, please give her a follow on Twitter, Kitsune Squeak also, or again, just search Emmy Lowe and she'll pop up. All right, so let's see what else I've got here. Kieran asked 3 questions, and they were all really good. So I'll also give.
Amazing.
And this one is kind of for voice actors in general. I know it's such a growing field. A lot of with social media and us being able to connect now, and people having kind of their home media set up. It feels like it's become more and more open for people who want to commit the time to develop those skills to become a voice actor. So this is kind of an advice question, and Kieran asks, what life skills did you learn as a kid or a teenager that people would be surprised to learn really helps you as an actor?
Being humble.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been a little too far on the spectrum because I had Asian parents, so all of us grow up with like terrible self-esteem.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to work with somebody who has an ego. And also, just being humble means that you're always willing to learn. You're open-minded towards the director's point of view and just other interpretations, because there are so many people that are just like, they hear one way to say a line and that's the only way, and they think that is the correct way. And I think that but like, if you are willing to admit that you don't know everything, then honestly you can just grow so much more. And I think just that openness is very important, because we're always going to keep growing. And I think that's just something that's important to know in any field, not just voice acting, and also in like music and just life in general. Like, nobody wants to work with somebody who's a narcissist and has a huge ego. They want someone who they can talk to, who is receptive to ideas. And so while I feel like growing up in the environment that I grew up in had its detriments, I think that was also something that was very important to learn.
That's interesting that maybe you already came in with that that ability, that skill, that kind of mindset. Um, the It just makes sense that it's so important, especially because there's so many good, from what I've heard. I don't have the ear for it necessarily, but there's so many good directors out there now. And of course, they want to work with people that they can work with and mold and get the best performance out of. But if you're resistant to that, you think you're giving the best performance without that need for direction. I don't want to work with you. And there's so many voice actors out there now. It's a growing profession. There's talent out there. So I suppose they can just move on to the next person. But I do have. Let's see. We've got a question here. PRX again asks this time. How would you describe the anime industry and how does it feel working in this sector? And I guess maybe if you can kind of give our viewers an idea of what it's like to just be part of this industry, because I think a lot of us, maybe have stars in our eyes and like, oh wow, that seems so glamorous and cool. But what's it like? Maybe if you can't think of it in a general sense, maybe necessarily, what is it like on a daily basis to be involved in voiceover?
When it comes down to it, it feels like any other job. You're there to do what you're there to do. You just happen to enjoy it more depending on who you are. I mean, like if you enjoy your job, that's great. I just feel very happy that I enjoy my job. But also, one of the hardest things is that you are in public scrutiny.
Mm.
Any decision you make, people are going to see it. And there's going to be tons of people who are like, oh, I hate dubs. Everybody sounds terrible. Why did you do something like that? And the thing is, you have to be able to accept that you're not going to make everyone happy. And so it's really not for somebody who's not thick-skinned, because you are going to get so much criticism. So I feel like working in the industry, you have to really love it. You have to love what you're doing. And yeah, basically, like, you have to just remember why you're there.
Do you feel like you're thick-skinned by nature, or have you developed a thicker skin over time?
Oh God, I am like the most trusting person in the world, and I've had to learn not to be. Yeah, I am by nature just like I am a very soft person by nature, and it's still very, very difficult for me to like get all that hate sometimes, or like and I've been betrayed many times in my life. So like I'd like to say I have a very thick skin, but there are still times when you just break down crying, which is fine. But you just have to pick yourself up and keep going, So no, I do not think I am thick-skinned by nature at all.
Do you feel like you have a good supportive community, maybe in the industry or around you that kind of helps when it gets difficult like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I am blessed with Zach. He's amazing. I am blessed with him, and I am blessed with some wonderful friends, like Caitlin and Sean. They are just absolutely amazing. And yeah, I mean, the community is worth it. All my friends are worth it. I just feel very blessed and lucky.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I certainly get that sense that there's a lot of great people in that community, and there have been for a long time. But that can offer guidance, or I was talking to a voice actor recently who said that we were talking about the negativity, but even on social media, sometimes someone will say, "Oh, this show is coming out." Maybe Funimation will post that on their account, and then there's just all these comments, all these negative comments that don't even necessarily have to do with that post.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's like, oh,
Yeah, but the good thing is there are also wonderful, supportive people out there too.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you can't please everybody, and at least there are supportive people there too.
Yeah, sometimes it's about being able to see you may get like 10 good comments for the one negative one, but the negative one kind of sticks with you sometimes.
Oh yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah, and maybe it's someone who doesn't even know what they're talking about, and yet it's that's what gets to you. So yeah, you got to be healthy and try to try to
Mhm.
see the positives. But uh, I mean, it's good to hear that even though you aren't that way by nature, you're able to kind of develop that and in a healthy way sometimes just deal with the negativity. Um, so that's really great. And I do want to shout out to all the people joining our stream right now, and all those of you who may be watching on YouTube or listening in on a different platform. Thank you for listening. I know you're the supportive ones, so definitely give Emmy a follow if you aren't already. She's like I said, she's great at what she does. You can see that she's great in general from the stream here. So please give her a follow and support her. I do want to get to a really important topic, which is figures, anime figures. This is the important part, right?
Very important.
Yeah. I love seeing when you collect something and you post a photo about it on Twitter. So one thing that's kind of interesting to me that or that I like to hear about from people who collect figures as part of their hobby is kind of your approach. Like, how do you figure out what you want to get and how much to spend? Because figures cost a lot of money. Like, how do you approach that in general, this hobby of yours?
Well, usually figures that I get, besides the characters that I play, are characters that mean a lot to me. Like, I have a figure of Alan Walker from D. Gray Man because I am in absolute love with him and I identify with him, and I've been following that series for God knows how long. And then when they finally came out with the scale figure from Aniplex in his third uniform, I was like, I absolutely need this. And it was gorgeous, and like it was well sculpted, and like the details were fantastic. It was a bit on the pricey side because it's an Aniplex figure, but it was worth it because he finally got a figure. And yeah, like other figures that I've gotten, I have Kaito Kid because he's my husband. And yeah, it's really hard to choose sometimes when a character has a lot of figures. For example, like Kaito Kid has many figures, but like then I look for figure makers that I like Kotobukiya and Alter. They do really gorgeous figures, and I want to see like the sculpt in general. If there's if there's a lot of movement in the figure. Basically, what my budget is at the time. I did pre-order this Lena Inverse figure that should be coming out soon. It has her in like this gorgeous kimono, and the details are just absolutely amazing. So yeah, a lot of the times it's characters that are very important to me. Lena's another character that's very important to me because another character that I identify with, and I've followed Slayer since like middle school. I watched it in middle school, and Lena's fantastic. But yeah, it's usually something like that. I guess another character that I have a scale figure of would be Kino from Kino's Journey. Again, another character that I admire. I love the novels for it. So, like, there are many characters that I like, but I won't get the figures for, like scale figures, just because they don't have as much impact on me, or they're just, these characters haven't been with me for a long time. And generally, that's what it is. It's how much I love the character, how gorgeous the figure is, if there are multiple of them, and just if I'll regret not getting it is the bottom line.
Just as an aside, I wonder which did you like better, the original Kino's Journey or the reboot they did a few years back?
Honestly, I like the original more. What?
Everyone's
Yeah, the thing is, like, I liked the reboot, and Aoi Yuki played Kino, so like I just love Aoi Yuki's work. But I feel like the colors, maybe even in the animation for the new one, they were a bit too shiny.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
It was like a new coat of paint, but Kino is a series that is very raw. very philosophical, and it's just there's some charm also just to the old animation style. I loved the soundtrack for the original, and but honestly, my favorite Kino stuff is still the novels. The novels themselves are fantastic. It's unfortunate that we'll never get more of it translated, because the only release done by Tokyo Pop was the first volume, and they reordered the chapters, which Sigsaw was not happy about, because they made it what's the word? They had it ordered by sequential time, instead of like where he does bits and pieces, and it's like a puzzle that you put together. And so that made him so upset that he's not going to.
Oh, good. That's like if someone did Haruhi Suzumiya and then put it, it's like, oh, this structure doesn't make sense, and put in whatever structure they wanted, but that's not the authorial intent there. Oh, that's disappointing, because I've always wanted to read that series. I've heard good things about the light novels. So
Yeah, there's even a spin-off where it's called Gakuen Kino that like talks other genres. Like they even have a baseball arc, and like she's a magical girl, and like when she transforms, her skirt is 3 millimeters shorter for fan service. It's hilarious. And like she's like, because she loves food, they have her play the whole what's it called, magical girl protagonist that loves to eat food. And then so she always goes to all these restaurants and like does their eating challenges, and she's actually been banned from them because she wins all of them. And because like you eat a certain amount of food and then you get it for free, so she just keeps restaurant hopping for that. It's just fantastic. And like she has like a pouch full of weapons that is like a bottomless pit, and she just pulls out random weapons.
See, now you're hurt. It's all the things that we're missing and won't get.
Even have like a hot spring scene where they're like, and something a natural steam, and her unnatural steam, and this.
Kino. I love both series. I blogged quite a bit about the original, and then I episodically went through the new one that came out, and just so good. So everyone go watch it, and watch the original if you can. People definitely love the charm of that one. Do you have any of your anime figures around you that you can
Well, I have, this isn't a figure, but I have my Rena Dolphin over here.
Very cool. Is that new?
Yeah, it just came out. So I just gotten that, and here's my Rena collection. There are a lot of figures there. Yeah, this is like my case full of stuff I voiced, so yeah.
That's so cool to have like figures.
A hay figure, yeah.
That's so cool.
So that's the stuff with me. Yeah, the rest of the stuff is upstairs, but
You have a lot of different types of figures. You have you have the kind of Figma type stuff, but you have dolls and doll kind of figures. It looks like you have acrylic figures also, or acrylic.
yeah, the acrylic standees. Yeah, someone I guess wanted to see Alan, so I guess I'll go upstairs.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna make Miles' day, because he's one of the people commenting, and D Grayman is his favorite series. He has so much love for it. He's always talking about it. Wow. That looks so good.
It's gorgeous. I love it. And there's my Kino stuff.
I hope so, because I can tell that that's a very expensive figure. Kino. See, those are the ones I want.
The one with Hermes is a Kotobukiya one, and then there was a remake of one of the older figures.
Oh, don't you love it when they do the remakes? It feels like I hit the lottery, right? It's so hard to get some of those older ones, and then they
yeah, and like it's better sculpted now too, which is always
exactly. I brought a couple of mine here. I try to find ones that you've maybe tweeted about before, just so that they're some of the figures that I brought were ones you were familiar with or liked. So I've got Shiki. This is
Oh,
this
Yoshi.
actually a gift from a friend, so I was glad to get this cute little thing. Um, you've mentioned Clamp before, so I've got a card captor Sakura
I
figure.
actually have the Shauron from
Oh yeah,
Kotobuki. Yeah, it's in Delaware right now with at my parents' place, but yeah.
all right, we can get them together sometime. And then I don't know if you like Sword Art Online or don't like it from your tweets, but I do have an Asuna.
Nice.
Um, I try not to spend a lot of money. I like Ami Ami because I can pre-order stuff, and then when it comes out, I can decide whether to actually it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently I was going to purchase a figure and I thought better of it, so I'll let this one go. Got to save the money. Got to save the money. Anyway, all right. So we're almost out of time, but I do want to get to a couple more questions from the people who are joining us today. And these are pretty good. Nippon Knickknacks asks, um, if all anime characters were white but one, which character in their merchandise would you save?
Oh my God. What kind of question is that?
Well, horrible, horrible, heartbreaking question.
Oh my God. Uh, if it were like on like just a biased way, I would say Rena from Higurashi just because I have so much of her stuff and I love her a lot. Because I've loved Higurashi since, oh my God, since I was little. Since high school, middle school, whatever, whenever it first came out. But I'm very partial to my Kino stuff.
Hmm.
So it might be Kino. Besides Rena, it would probably be Kino.
There's something really special, again, not to talk about Kino the whole time, but there's just something really special about it's just like everything came together so well with Kino, the philosophy, the writing, the character design. Everything is just so wonderful about that series and all sorts of things I didn't know that you talked about today. So um, yeah, and I should point people towards Higurashi, which I think is going to be ongoing still, right?
Yeah, Sotsu, I think, comes out July 1st in Japan.
There you go. So,
Excited about because the trailer has had some really great Venom moments. So,
well, very cool. And if you read the manga, I was totally addicted to it when it came out. It's such a really really great series. So definitely check that out if you aren't already. And I will ask one more question here, and we'll kind of end on this note. This is another kind of advice question, also from Nippon Knickknacks, who asks, "How do you balance work, social media, and finding time to decompress and be with family or for yourself?"
I mean, generally every night I spend time with Zach, playing video games and stuff like that. Work, well, when I'm working, I'm working. Social media is just more like a thing here or there. It only takes a few seconds. So you just go on, and if you have nothing to do, you can scroll a little bit more. But um,
Is social media fun for you, or is it more part of the job?
considering that I mostly spend the time like posting pictures of my cat and like chatting with people, it's more of a fun thing. I'm really bad at using it as part of my job, I feel like, because I don't like playing the game, I guess. I just want to share pictures of my cat. I actually honestly didn't really, I had a Twitter for the longest time, but I didn't use it until a few years ago when I got really into these Chinese novels and like there were tons of fan art on Twitter, and that's actually why I started using Twitter more.
Wow. Well, there.
Just to follow fan artists. I use it to follow artists, really.
Well, I think you really use it actually in a very healthy way because I can't imagine. I mean, I think I would be burned out with Twitter if it was really just about like always just reposting, the Funimation stuff or just self-promotion all the time because that wears on you. And again, you get lots of negative comments. You don't maybe get to develop those bonds that you do by posting just your thoughts or more personal things or photos of your cats. So I think you're doing a really good job. And again, so I do want to close this out right now, and I want to again point everyone towards towards Emmy's Instagram account. You just follow right now. We're ending, so go follow her. But also follow her on Twitter. If you aren't on Twitter, there is stuff out there that isn't just political discourse that's going to make you angry. There's cat pictures, and all sorts of
So
fun.
many cat Twitter accounts, like cats in places they don't belong, or like kitten pages. It's great. It's great.
And I love the voice actor community on Twitter because there is a lot of stuff about what's going on in their jobs and so forth, but there's just a lot of fun stuff that they post also. It's like they know where to find the goods. So definitely follow Emmy, follow a lot of the voice actors out there, and Kitsune Squeak again, or just search Emmy Lowe. And I think that's it for today, Emmy. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, everyone, go give Emmy a follow, and thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. So take care, everyone. God bless, and have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.